Okay, I'll give you this. I'll give you this. Statistically, mass shooters and serial killers are white men.
Just take a second and listen to this.
White people, not all of them, but the ones that are really concerned with race are concerned about the fact that it's looking like America is no longer going to be majority white in the very near future. If that's what's going to happen, that's what's going to happen. I don't really take any issue with it. My thing would be if America was no longer run by a majority of white people, who is the best people to be in charge of a new America? And my vote would be Black Americans. See, what a lot of white people don't realize is Black Americans being in charge of this country would be the best chance you got of still being treated fairly.
Because during the Jim Crow era, when segregation was at its highest, when blacks had the fewest opportunities, guess what? They thrived. So even under the most oppressive era in modern American history, blacks did better.
First time in American history, the number of white people went down.
And white Americans will soon be a minority, and that's great.
You know, whites will not be the majority. I mean, it's an exciting transformation of the country. It's an exciting evolution and, progress of our country.
We are going to be a white minority very, very soon.
Let's just talk about facts, okay? Globally, white people make about 11% of the world's population. That's already a minority on a global scale. Most of the world is Asian, African, South Asian, Middle Eastern, Indigenous, etc. That's just reality. So when I see people celebrate a demographic change like it's just a win over a group, I'm confused. Imagine if we were saying, oh, Asians are shrinking, that's great. And I don't think it would hit this hard if white people weren't already demonized today, and hear me out. They're saying progress requires guilt and an apology for something you never did. And we have come such a long way as a society, praise God. And a lot of people have put in real work to make things better. But when white kids grow up being told there's something wrong with them just for existing, that doesn't create understanding, that creates resentment. And that's how you push people from one side to another, towards figures like Nick Fuentes. The whole point of this was to be less dehumanization, not switching who gets it.
I'm rooting for all black people. I see, black creators do it. I see black actors do it or say this. I am. I want to see black people freaking crushing America. I feel like black people have so many amazing forward-thinking ideas. Just as an artist, seeing the incredible stuff that black Americans have done. I want to see more of that in every space.
Get ready, Black America. We might have to participate at a level that we weren't even thinking of, because it might be us to help rescue this country. Thank you.
For people who've looked into the truth about history and the truth about countries, and I'm not talking about the propaganda they push through school and History Channel and all that, African Americans or black people were here first. They were in the majority of countries first as well before white people. That's also naturally why their hair grows upwards towards the ether and our hair grows down lower.
White people are scared that their white population is going downward, and they're even more scared after predictions are coming that black people may one day become the majority, they may one day become powerful. I mean, imagine beating somebody today only to discover that tomorrow they are the person in high position, they are the person hiring you. Even if they never promised the revenge, wouldn't you still feel nervous? I mean, white Americans are worried about becoming the minority one day, while others are celebrating that change within their white community. But beneath all this, there is a deeper question. Why are some people afraid that black Americans might become the majority? Is it because they believe black people would seek revenge? Or could that fear come from maybe history and some sort of guilt? They're feeling guilty. Now, black Americans often say they don't see Americans as enemies or competitors just because, they just consider them as, brothers and sisters in the same country. They just look at them as people living together. So let's unpack this fear, because there is much behind this thing. Even white people are trying to say, I want black people to win. I want black people to take this. I mean, let's watch the video. I'll come later.
Because if you notice, if you don't get your head all caught up in racist ideology, black folks are basically cool with white people. I know the media like to make us think we're caught up in this race war, and all white folks hate black folks, and all black folks hate white folks. But for the most part, if you ask black folks how they feel about white folks, the general answer is usually like, I feel no type of way about them. They could do them as long as they don't affect me doing me. Truthfully, I could see if black folks were more prominent in positions of power, this has got to be one of the only groups of people who would want to get something for themselves without taking anything away from anybody else. And that's truthfully how I've always seen it to be. Black people don't want to ruin shit for anybody else. Black people don't want to take something over and exclude everybody else that wants a piece of the pie. For whatever they want to say, generally in this day and age, black folks and white folks have the same opportunities. But there's always just this little bias against black folks in America. It'll never fully go away. It's not as heavy as it used to be, but it's still lightly there beneath the surface. I think if government was majority black, I think if more police in prominent cities were majority black, it'd be kind of like the way things are now, just reverse. You get pulled over driving while white, it'd be like, it's cool. I can see that you're white. You were going over the speed limit. Cooperate with us. Everything's going to be straight. You give them an attitude. You move erratically. Then they start fucking you up. And then the white people are going to be like, it's because I was white. And black police are going to be like, it's not because you're white. You're going over the speed limit. Then you started acting threatening towards us. You see all these other white people that we left alone because they cooperated with us. I'm being lightly humorous, but I'm really not. There are other cultures that would turn America into another country just out of faith to their own culture. They would want their culture to be the predominant culture in America. And aside from all these disagreements that stand between us and the media exacerbating it so we always fight, black and white Americans are the most comparable in terms of American culture.
White people broke the earth. White people, not all of you individually, but the systems you built, the empires you enforced, the profit you prioritized over life. You broke the earth. You didn't just show up and settle. You came with guns, greed, and God. You took land that wasn't yours, spilled blood on sacred ground, and called it destiny. You clear-cut forests, enslaved people, dug holes in the earth for gold, turned the sky into a smokestack, and renamed the destruction growth. You made the land yours by force. You made water something to sell. You made civilization mean white skin, private property, and concrete. You told the world that nature was wild, that people who honored it were savages, and that domination was salvation. And when the earth cried out, when her lungs burned and her rivers turned black, you didn't stop. You invented new ways to profit from collapse. Now you want to fix it? Now you want to lead the way? No, you are not the solution. You are the crisis. But this story doesn't end with you, because the earth is not dead, not defeated. It is wounded, but it remembers. It remembers those who loved it before you fenced it off, and mined its soul. It remembers the songs sung to rivers, the hands that planted with gratitude, the fire keepers, the medicine carriers, the people who knew the earth was not a thing, but a living relative. We remember too. We remember that your empires are fragile, that your borders are fake, that your wealth is stolen, and that your time is running out. The earth can be healed, but not by white saviors, not by carbon offsets, not by policies written in boardrooms. Healing will come through justice, through land back, through reparations, through abolition, through the return of what was stolen, and the dismantling of what never should have existed. The earth isn't dying, it's remembering, and it will only heal when white power ends. Cope.
America's going to be saved by black people. It is the ungovernability of black people that you can bank on. I'm like, we are going to save this nation because, as you can see, we have this, that for some reason, there's just something within us that we're just like, no, actually. When they bring out the droids and they're going to take out the robots and they're going to be like, okay, we're going to control everything that you do and monitor you. Who was the number one group that was not getting that vaccine? You're welcome. Yeah. You are so welcome that you can always bank on the ungovernability of black people, because at the end of the day, we're like wired toward freedom, and we'll be like, okay, you're doing too much, government. Whoa. We're not getting that vaccine. They were like, we'll buy you Nikes. We'll buy you ice cream. We'll get you tickets to see DJ this or whatever. And Black America was like, Not doing that.
Well, Egyptians were practically Africans.
Yeah, okay, yeah, exactly.
So we will be with you.
That's what I'm saying.
Take us with you.
Yeah, it's you can bank on that.
Immigrants did not build America. Slaves and their descendants, Black Americans, built America, like quite literally with their hands, okay? Let me explain to you the issue with Shabuzi's Grammy speech. Let me start by saying that immigrants have greatly enriched this country, okay? We would not be where we are without them. However, they did not build America. And I think this is such an important distinction to make during Black History Month, because the comment, immigrants built America, is rooted in the erasure of Black contribution, okay? Specifically, Black American contribution, however involuntary it was. I understand that Shabuzi was coming from a good place when he said that immigrants built this country, but historically and factually, it is incorrect, baby. Chattel slavery built this country, and it is important to recognize that. People don't want to talk about slavery, but the reality is that slavery and the cotton economy is what gave America its legs, baby. There would be no America without slavery. The enrichment that is immigration did not come until significantly after slavery, right? Slavery dates back to the 1600s, girl, okay? All the way until 1865, where we get the Emancipation Proclamation. And even after this point, there were some Black people who were still being held captive as slaves because they just didn't get the news yet, girl, okay? So when you think about that, how long slavery spanned, okay? And the fact that we get ushered into Reconstruction and Jim Crow, and slaves are now repurposed as sharecroppers, right? Or repurposed into roles in which they are only good for service. They are only good for, functional positions that help prop up the country, not actual careers, not anything actually profitable. Like literally, Black people simply migrated from slavery into something else until we get into the civil rights era. For the people who think that we're arguing semantics, not only is this an important distinction to make so that we are recounting American history and Black history accurately, but also because the suppression of Black history, the erasure of Black history, okay, is what leads to the repetition of these atrocities, not on Black bodies, but onto others. And this idea that Black history and American history, when it repeats, that it's going to repeat with the same people, it does not. It does not. And I think we're seeing a little bit of the proof, but that will never, ever, ever change the fact that the biggest and greatest group affected by American history, affected by the American plight, and that actually built America is Black American descendants of slaves.
As quiet as kept, Black Americans is who is saving America. As quiet as kept, if the children of the sun didn't reside in America, they would have been set this bitch off. Why do you think that they don't allow us to leave at one time? That they don't like us all grouped up together? We can't all be in the same nothing. Same town, same nothing. Especially if we got some money. Why the celebrities don't even live next door to each other? They got all this money. Why they don't have their own community? Dave Chappelle bought a community, but it was amongst white people. Okay.
Did you know that the late Marcus Garvey once said, if Black people can truly find their true identity of who we are, we can attain greatness again on this earth? Here in America, in the 21st century, we have fallen so far into ditches with our bad morals and what's going on now. Somebody's going to have to pull us out of this ditch. And what if part of our purpose for being in this country and our purpose for being on this earth is the time and the place to pull this country back out of this moral degradation? We once led the world before the birth of Christ. We're the oldest people on the earth. We have the perseverance. We have the talent. We have the skill. What if part of our divine purpose for being in this country is to reach down and pull America out of this ditch when this nightmare kind of comes to an end? Why not us? Get ready, Black America. We might have to participate at a level that we weren't even thinking of, because it might be us to help rescue this country. Thank you.
For people who've looked into the truth about history and the truth about countries, and I'm not talking about the propaganda they push through school and History Channel and all that, African Americans or black people were here first. They were in the majority of countries first as well before white people. That's also naturally why their hair grows upwards towards the ether and our hair grows down lower. That's also why they don't get poisoned or sunburned by the sun. The sun actually electrically charges them. People also think that they actually have melanin. They have carbon within their skin. Okay? And I can go very deep about things that are going on. And TikTok will take this video down if I do. And all I'm going to say to you is do your own deep research on this. Do not just listen to what you are told about history, okay? How you feel doesn't matter. Again, as I say, how you feel doesn't matter, because how you feel is probably your emotional attachment to ideas you have been taught growing up.
This is basically in just the last 100 years. Look at white European ancestry. That's crazy. It's going to continue moving in that direction unless something's done. At the same time this is happening, our countries are being swamped. People from elsewhere. Countries that have millions of their own people. You talk about a country like Nigeria has like 240 million Nigerians. India has 1.5 billion Indians. And European countries, whether they be Germany, Ireland, Scotland, England, Belgium, all unique places with their own culture, unique people, small population numbers are being demographically replaced. European culture is in decline. Has to be reversed. We have to start focusing, prioritizing on our own people.
Welcome back. Now, after listening to everything these people had to say, I think there's one, if not two, important points that are worth paying attention to, that are worth understanding, and we didn't need to take it seriously. You see, this conversation is not simply about white people disappearing, like their population going downward. No, or that the black people are planning to take over, or that the black people are planning to try to revenge. It's not about that. I think it is about fear. It's about history. It's about power and what people imagine will happen as the racial balance happens or changes. Some speakers are saying black Americans could help move America forward, could save America, not because black people are better than white people or somebody is better than the other, no, but because they have survived enormous pressure and still built communities, businesses, art, culture, and institutions. So this art, this grace or this gift of being resilient, still building, still being excellent, still being powerful, still being, innovative, still be creating, still be joyous, still be happy while you are under pressure, is what people are trying to look at. No, black people we didn't need to learn this from black people. You see, black Americans do not need to become powerful and make white people powerless, or maybe slaves try to revenge. No, this is not the message, and no black people ever say this. There's no black person that has ever said that, we'll be in power, we'll revenge. Black people don't need this. Don't ask this. I should mean that. Now, the argument is that greater black representation could give black Americans more influence over decisions, affecting their communities as the black community. Now, the other side is also raising fear that if white Americans become the minority, just like black people are the minority today, there is that fear that the black people might eventually treat them the way black people were treated historically. Like I gave you that example of imagine beating somebody today, only realizing tomorrow they are in power. Even if they threaten to revenge, still you may just have that sense of guilty. You may feel guilty. You may just punish yourself that, obviously they will treat me this way. Yet that's not what black people are looking at. But here's where I think people need to separate history from revenge. I think there are two different things. Black people are are not thinking of that. Being black does not automatically mean wanting revenge. Being black does not mean having that evil mindset. And being white does not automatically mean carrying personal guilt, guilt for history. I think those are two things we need to like separate. A person should be judged by what they actually do, not simply by the group they were born into. Understanding history is something that really matters, because when people talk about slavery, segregation, discrimination, and unequal treatment, they are not necessarily attacking every white person alive today. They're just talking about systems and experiences that shaped the country. And if black Americans eventually become a larger share of the population, the healthiest outcome should not be the racial reversal, where one group dominates the other or somebody replaces the other. It should be a country where nobody has to live in fear other than gaining power. It's just a way of trying to tell white people, you see, this is where you are failing. Today we are all equal. Today we are all in power. Today we can all do this. This is what you are supposed to do. It's just like trying to tell them what they were supposed to do. So I can understand why some white people are feeling nervous about demographic change, but fear should not turn into resentment towards, black Americans. Like, oh, they want to take over, so let's place them, let's finish them. Like, let's increase the lynchings, let's suppress them even more so that they don't overtake. That's not the way. Black Americans should not have to apologize for succeeding or gaining influence or building wealth or becoming more represented. I don't think it should be like that. If the future brings more black people to be in high position in leadership, the goal should be progress, not revenge. Because the real victory should be seeing black people rise without needing anybody else to fall. Otherwise, yes, sometimes it makes sense after you have done wrong to some people and then you feel like they will revenge. So I don't think black people may revenge to the extent of punishing people, taking white people to slavery. That shouldn't be the case. So if you know somebody is going to be in power today, if you are wise, the best way to do is to live in peace with them today, so that tomorrow you can still enjoy like together. It's that simple. Not that you know for sure they may take you over and then you want to be disrespectful to them. That's bad. That's bad. So I don't know what's your take on this. Let's discuss down in the comments below. I love that you came to watch the video. See you next time, and I'm proud of you.